Lawmakers in New Mexico are proposing that in order to graduate, high school juniors in the state would be required to apply for at least one college or commit themselves to getting a job or internship. Those exceptions would include the military or vocational training. The goal may be laudable to increase college enrollment, especially for first-generation and minority students. They say that's what this is all about. But critics say the legislation would include no extra funding for the government mandate and no guarantee of extra guidance counselors to help students actually apply to college. So here to make the case, David Pietro, a former prosecutor and now a trial attorney, and Mercedes Colwin, criminal defense attorney and Fox News legal analyst. Welcome to you both.
Great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so this bill comes to us. It's bipartisan. Republican and Democrat state lawmaker there say they want to encourage more kids. They point to a school that tried this in Texas, and they say that college application and acceptance was up 11% with these kids. So they want people to give it a try. This is part of what the bill says. It says a local school board shall ensure that each high school student has the opportunity to develop a next step plan based on reports of college and workplace readiness as available and other factors, and is reasonably informed about the financial benefits of graduating from college and the availability of financial aid. So, David, why is that not a good idea?
I know the millennials are a special generation that need to be guided along more than previous generations, but give me a break. At what point is the government going to stop dictating to now adults on how they should live their lives? Look how many successful people we've had in our society who have not graduated college. 8 U.S. presidents, Bill Gates, Sheldon Adelson, the founder of Wendy's, and the list goes on. And to force people to go through a government-dictated, either you need to go to vocational school or you need to go to college, is really putting people in a little box and limiting their creativity. And it's really the government dictating how now adults should live their lives. It's going too far and not letting people decide what makes them happy. Maybe college and money doesn't make somebody happy. Maybe people have a different purpose in the world.
Yeah,
I know the law is well intended, but
yeah,
really it's overstepping in its bounds and not allowing children to decide what they want to do as adults.
Well, and there are a lot of options here. Like we said, military, VOTEC, there are other options, apprenticeships, internships. They just want to see, Mercedes, that you have some kind of plan. Our own Kat Timpf writes this in National Review. Honestly, there are a lot of reasons why this is stupid. For one thing, we now live in a society where you can be a very dumb YouTube star and earn lots of money and fame despite being painfully uneducated. Who's to say that one of these kids ain't going to be the next one of those? Mercedes?
I blame it on helicopter parenting and participation trophies. The younger generation has to be spoon-fed and led along. It's a great idea to do this. Look, if you look at statistics, there's some really dark statistics when you talk about people that don't have college degrees. First, most of the 9 out of 10 adults that are pulled out of poverty don't have a college degree. And when you look at unemployment, it's double the rate of those individuals who don't have college degrees don't actually get jobs. So these are really stark statistics. And frankly, the younger generation should have some idea. By the time they're 17, 18 years old, they should have some idea. This is a junior in high school, as what do they want to do? And it's exactly right, Shannon. You've got lots of opportunities. You can join the military. You can go and do some sort of internship, go to college. It's not that the legislation says you have to go to college. There are those other options for those kids. They need it.
And David, what about a lot of the proponents of this say, listen, for a lot of students who are in economically depressed areas, or maybe they're first-generation students, I mean, they're not even considering, they say some of them, this idea of college. They don't know how to apply. They don't think that they even have a shot at that. So by at least forcing them to consider it, it may expand their horizons or the way they think about their future.
I think college is a wonderful thing, but there's a lot of things about college and the debt crisis that follows it that might not be right for children that come from less means. Maybe they need to go to work for a while before they figure out what they want to do in life. Not every child who becomes a student now needs to inherit six-figure debt. We're living in an era where college education has become extremely expensive. So is the state going to say you must apply to college? Great. What is the state going to do to make sure that that college education is, one, a worthy education that students want to go get in the marketplace, and two, is one that they can afford and there's a return on their actual investment? So if the government wants to do it, that's fine. But to sort of push it and mandate it is the first step. What's next? You're going to tell students what degree they need to major in, because that is more that's better for the state, better for jobs in that particular community, or are we now getting into personal freedoms where we're not letting people just be people and figure their way out in life? And that's life. Life is part of the struggle, and the struggle is what makes us unique.
Yeah, Mercedes, let me ask you quickly,
Sure.
who pays for this? Because every college or law school I applied to cost me a lot of money, and sometimes you just don't have it. Is this something that the state should pay for? And then is it the taxpayers funding this? I mean, what about the application fees?
I mean, the application fee the student's going to have to pay. I mean, there are some downsides to this legislation, but the upside is much greater. And we're talking about a lot of opportunities. Look, as an immigrant's daughter, education was pushed on all 6 of us. There were 6 of us. So it was definitely pushed on us. Education, education, education. You can make a difference if you have the education. And frankly, that speaks volumes.
All right, Mercedes and David, we thank you very much for presenting your arguments. We want to hear from folks at home. Let us know on Twitter @Shannon Bream or @Fox News Night which way you would rule in this case and why. All right, coming up.